Hello there, Johannes of Whiskey Lore, and time for another whiskey tasting. Today, headed to Ireland, and a distillery that is actually here on my book, right up in the top corner there, Ecklandville. Actually, if you wanted to know, Ecklandville, Royal Oak, where they make Busker. This is Powers Court for Cullen Whiskey, and this is Bushmills. So there you go. You got a little behind the scenes there on my book, available on Amazon, of course. And today, doing a tasting of Dunvilles. Found a bottle of this the other day when I was in the store. It wasn't what I was going after, but then I saw it, and then it was on sale, and I said, okay, well, it's on sale. It's $10 off a bottle, so I said, all right, I'm going to grab it, because this is their Three Crowns blended Irish whiskey, Peated. Now, the reason why I kind of held off on buying it, or why I wasn't necessarily looking for it, was because I was thinking if I get something from them, I'm going to probably go after a single malt. But this actually has a decent amount of single malt in it. So, talk a little bit about it. It is a peated whiskey. It is not, I take that back. It is not a peated whiskey. It is a peat finished whiskey. So the way this process goes is it's basically you're blending in 3 different whiskeys into an ex-peated barrel. So there is a 4-year-old grain whiskey that's in there, from what I understand. This information may be a little old, who knows. Then there's a 10-year single malt in there, and a 15-year aged in Oloroso sherry casks. Now, none of this would have been distilled at Ecklandville. They are still maturing their whiskey right now. They want it over 10 years old before they release their own juice. So this is likely coming out of Cooley, and if you listen to my recent interview or my discussion with Lori O'Dwyer from Whiskey Chats podcast, we were talking about the fact that Dunvilles, Ecklandville does something special with that Cooley juice and really makes some excellent whiskeys out of it. And so this one, we're going to find out how good is this. This is a bottle that's going to come in under $50 a bottle. Now what they're doing is they're blending those 3 different barrels into an ex-peated barrel to finish the whiskey. And so it's an Islay whiskey, but they don't say which Islay whiskey they use. So I'm going to use my nose and see if I can figure it out from a nosing and tasting. Normally, it's going to be, the barrels I've seen the most used in finishing are Lafroig barrels. Not sure why, but they seem to be the ones that normally get used for finishing. This is 43.5. Oh man, you know what this reminds me of on the nose? Baked apples, like that cinnamon baked apple note, but smoky. I mean, the smoke is definitely prevalent here. It's really nice. That's one of those things that will take you back to campfires and eating baked apples. All right, let's give it a sip. Obviously, doesn't look like they're coloring this in any way, shape, or form. Nothing on the label about chill filtration. Actually, the label, and Dunvilles is a historic brand. It was made by Royal Irish Distillers in Belfast up until, I think it was the 1930s or 40s, when they finally just shut themselves down and said, we're leaving. We still got money in the bank, so we're going to head on out of here, while the entire Irish whiskey industry collapsed. So interesting. Would have been fun to know what would have happened had they decided to stick with making whiskey. I mean, they could have stayed in the UK market and likely done pretty well. It's a distillery based in Northern Ireland. It's got a really nice nose to it. Maybe a little pear in there also. It's like that brighter fruit is underneath and trying to poke its head out, but the smoke just is blending in nicely with it. Cheers. Mmm. Mm-mm-mm. Love the mouthfeel on that. Caramel, apple. Mmm. Nice sweetness to that. It's mixed with the smoke. Smoke is always there. Maybe a little honey note. The caramel and apple kind of fade towards the end. I don't really get any Oloroso sherry notes. I would have to imagine this is fairly light in terms of the amount of Oloroso sherry that it's using. And however long they're keeping it in that peated barrel, it's putting enough influence on this whiskey. Now, I will say that you can put a drop of peated whiskey into a regular whiskey and it's very quickly going to pick up that peat taste and smell. I think, yeah, actually that apple is still there. Yeah, it's just hanging on. Maybe a little raisin coming in there at the end. So the Oloroso kind of doing it towards the end. Really, really nice mouthfeel on this. I have yet to be disappointed by a whiskey out of Ecklandville. They also make a brand called Old Comer, and there were two Old Comer distilleries, Upper and Lower, back in the days of Alfred Barnard traveling around Ireland. And so I will talk about that at some point on my Whiskey Lore Stories podcast. But, you know, I mean, even those are supposed to be, I think, the lower priced whiskeys from these guys. And those are really good too. I tasted one and I'm like, this is really, really good. I hope I can find this back in the States. Well, I haven't seen it in the States yet, but I am starting to see more Dunvilles. So I wouldn't shy away from this brand. I really do think that they know what they're doing in terms of their whiskey, and they're getting really good stocks of whiskey. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when these guys start releasing their own juice. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you learned something from it, give me a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more of these videos down the road. And until next time, cheers and Slainte. So nice a mouthfeel. It's not a heavy mouthfeel. It's substantial.